in Paris, I met a guy named Bobby. He was just my friend Bobby. And it turned out he lived 2 blocks away from me. And so I'd see him in Santa Monica, and I'd be walking down the street. Hey, Bobby, how are you? Hey, Mark, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And I'd see him in an art gallery. I'd see him in the market with his girlfriend. I go, he's such a great guy. And she goes, I know. And he'd smile. And we'd have coffee. So I said one day, let's go to Dodger Stadium. I had baseball tickets. And he says yes. So we get in his little car. It's a little putt-putt car. And we're going to Dodger Stadium. Blah, 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 blah. And we get there, and we sit down, and we have hot dogs. And then somebody walks up to him and says, Bobby, is that you? He goes, yeah. He goes, oh, my God, I can't believe it. It's so wonderful to meet you. And this happens about 8 times. And I look at him, and I go, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, let me tell you a little story. Back in the early 60s, I lived in New York, and I hung out with Andy Warhol and all those people. And Bob Dylan and I we hung out a lot.
No kidding.
Thieves.
No kidding.
And in the black and white movie, I forget, from the 60s with Bob Dylan, the guy who's with him all the time is my friend Bobby. And Bobby is basically the guy that Bob Dylan modeled himself after.
No kidding.
And, the one with Joan Baez is in it and this and that. And then he tells me that he wrote a song with Janis Joplin called Mercedes-Benz. And then he tells me that he brought Chris Christopherson to meet Janis, so she got the song Me and Bobby McGee. So Bobby, he's like, okay, I'm going to play my guitar. I'm going to be in a local guitar shop concert. I said, oh, I'm going to be there. He goes, nobody's going to show up. Like I want to see Dylan or something. And I'm thinking, no, I got to support this guy. And then the movie, he put together the Rolling Thunder review for Dylan. And there's a movie on it.
Mm.
And I'm watching the movie, and standing next to him on stage with a guitar for the whole fucking concert is my friend Bobby. The whole world knew who Bobby was but me. And he must have got a kick out of it because I just liked who he was.
Wow.
So he would always tell me, have you been back to Paris? And I go, no. He goes, you need to go. You should go back to Paris. So he died a little more than a year ago. And I read his obituary. And there was a woman, singer-songwriter, and she goes, I'm in New York City, and I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. And I look across the street, and I see Bobby Newirth. She goes, I'd recognize him anywhere. And I'm laughing, like, see, the whole fucking world knows him. And so she goes over to him, and she goes, Bobby, help. He goes, what's going on? She told him. He says, let me hear something. And she plays something, and he goes, that's great. You should keep doing that. So he was always supporting people. And then Dylan goes that Bobby could have been a megastar. And he chose not to. Instead, what he was doing was supporting and encouraging and just being who he was.
Wow.
And I realized with that he wasn't telling me to go back to Paris for a vacation. He was telling me to go back to Paris to rediscover and connect with who he knew me as in Paris.
Wait. He told you, or you guessed that was what he was saying?
Well, he was dead, so that's what I thought. But
afterward,
that's what he was doing, was encouraging other people. Supporting other people.
Everywhere, any place.
Yeah, with that girl, what to do, or Dylan said he was always there, kind of behind the scenes and just helping people and promoting people. And because I always thought, yeah, Bobby, vacation. And then after I read the obituary, I realized what he did with that singer, he was doing with me. He was saying, hey, because he knew me there. And I'm who I am, but my life was different there. And he saw me living my life then. And I wasn't probably living the same life here. Obviously not living the same life here.
When was it? When did you see him?
I would see him all the time, but maybe not the past couple of years. But every time I would see him, he would say, "Have you been back to Paris yet?" I go, "No." He goes, "You should go. You need to go." And I realized what was really what I think what he was saying is to go do that. So anyhow,
interesting guy.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
And what was his life like? I mean, obviously he'd known many people and many people.
He's known many people, and
because of what? Why?
Because of the early times with Warhol and Dylan, and living in New York in the early '60s.
But how does he know those guys?
He just that's who he was. He was part of that. Dylan was attracted to him because he used to play guitar and a harmonica. And that's what Dylan did.
Wow.
So he reached out. And Bobby was also an artist. And he was, he was in the hip scene. So that's how he knew Warhol. And it was that whole milieu then.
So,
and then
compared to
he knew all the singers and songwriters.
Oh, okay.
Because of Dylan.
So what was his age? I mean, how compared to you? He's younger than you or older than you?
He was older than me.
Oh.
He was maybe like 8 years older than me.
And how did he pass away?
I'll have to go read the obituary. It was natural causes.
Yeah, in LA he was living at the time.
Yeah, and he was healthy when he died.
Oh.
He wasn't drinking or doing drugs or.
And you wanted to share with me that story because of.
Because I'm in a place where I never thought. I always wondered if we could ever really change and transform. Because that's what he was saying, is don't be limited and boxed
Right,
up.
right. Oh, totally. I agree with him. That no boundary.
And what happened was, I was dealing with health bills. And I was talking to my therapist. And I was being a lawyer, and I was coming on as a lawyer, being angry, reacting to stuff that wasn't being handled right.
Wait. Then, is that the time when you met him?
No, this is recently. This is like in the past 6 months with the medical bills and stuff.
But he passed away, what, 2 years ago or something?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But what happens to me now kind of relates to my story from Bobby.
Right.
So my therapist goes, why are you being so angry? She goes, you're basically retired. Why aren't you you live near the beach. Why aren't you just, doing what you love and
right.
enjoy your life?
Yeah. So
I realized that's not the person I want to be. So
wait. But she was saying the same thing Bobby said, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first dead body I ever saw was my father.
Okay.
And when he was lying there, he wasn't angry. He wasn't stressed out. He wasn't in discomfort or any of that. He was gone. It was gone.
Right.
And I thought, why do I have to wait until I die to have that leave?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So what I did is I actually did a kind of meditation.
When was it that you were talking about this story of because meditation? When was that you did do? Recently?
I'd say about 2.5 months ago, 3 months ago.
More recently. So your father's situation is way back, but somehow you remember that, and therefore the meditation. Yeah. Okay, now I follow your logic.
Yeah, because my the therapist's like, why are you
being
so angry?
Right.
So I did a meditation, and I thought about being regretting things I didn't do.
Okay.
Having all kinds of ruminations and maybe self-hatred.
And you didn't go back you didn't go back to Paris either.
No, I didn't. Not yet.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, in a way, I have.
Yeah, I know. I can feel it. Yeah.
What happened is when I thought of anger or guilt or, not self-acceptance and all these feelings. I stayed with each one, and it felt like I was in a sauna, and each of those left my body.
You're talking about when you're meditating.
Yeah. Like I thought of each one, like regretting what I did do, regretting what I didn't do,
But when it left you, is that in one session or over time? In one go, in one
session. And I felt it all at each time I stayed with a different one. It felt I felt it leave my body.
Wow.
Like steam coming off of me in a sauna.
Okay.
And so
just a minute. I'm just digesting. So this happened like 3 months ago or something, right?
Yeah.
Or 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And you're sitting in one sitting of 1 hour, 30 minutes, I don't know. So those things happen one after the other.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So.
Yeah, it's
And it was like a steam leaving you, you
didn't see steam, but it actually felt like if you were in a sauna and things are coming out of your body.
And you feel lighter.
Are coming out of your body.
Right. Okay.
The self-hatred, the guilt, the doubt, the anger, the over and over same thoughts.
Right. But usually it doesn't happen so easily. Do you know you get to a certain level that you have to do this meditation and you come committed, or what did it make it happen?
I didn't want to be living that life anymore.
Okay.
I chose to be different.
That's enough. Let's figure this out. So you start to do that. All right. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. And I never thought that I could be on the other side.
Meaning,
I always thought.
Meaning.
Not
doing it, not processing it.
Yeah, of actually feeling whole, of actually feeling me, of actually without all this other shit.
Right.
It's like, can people ever really heal, or is it just the same bullshit?
But let me understand you, because until now I wasn't sure. Like last time I met you and before, I didn't feel any anger or frustration inside of you, but you felt that's what happened a few months ago, right?
I felt that a lot, but
it didn't come out, or I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
But you felt it, or you have had it, and just like this Bobby was telling you about Paris, you had it the same thing.
Well, yeah, it was like to go back and be different.
Right.
When I was being angry about the medical bills, my therapist pointed it out to me.
So,
because why are you being so angry?
And right. So
I don't want to be that way to other people, but I don't want to be that person myself. I thought of these other things.
Have you seen those therapists before, or this is more recent?
I've seen her before, but this was
like an explosion.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it just came out. Yeah, right. And kind of, she suggested, why don't you kind of meditate or?
No, she just said, why are you being like this?
Oh, okay.
Why are you being so angry?
I see.
You should be happy. You live by the beach. And I'm thinking also, I'm 73.
Right.
If I don't do this now, then when?
Right. Okay. I now finally understood the background and where you are and what you're saying, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And.
So that's happened like 3 months ago or something, right? Of the and then what?
So, for the longest time, I like the things that I have, but I've never lived my life to buy things. That I needed to have the biggest house, that I needed to have the biggest watch, that I needed to have the biggest jewelry, that I needed to have the most money.
Right.
So I haven't been material about the material things. But then I have a project, a couple things that I'm doing, and I went, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and I went, you know what? I don't need to be doing anything.
Exactly.
I just get to
be yourself.
Especially with my friends dying. I just get to be me and be here And I walk around and I'm just joyful and I'm happy and I'm talking to people.
But your friend's dying is more recent in the last 10 days, right?
Yeah.
But this meditation was like a couple or 3 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the time, not people were dying or anything.
No.
But
although I lit candles for my mom and my dad.
Right.
They died a while ago.
Yeah.
But it's
But you are feeling that that's time that you had enough of this and now meditate, sit, and then lucky enough that steam came out.
Yeah, I mean that's the best way I can. It expressed from my body.
Right.
The same way that when I looked at my dad, all of his pain, all of his suffering, all of his torture, mentally and physically, was gone in him and from his body.
Oh, I see.
He was just laying there.
Right, but you don't have to wait for dying.
Yeah, I'm like, why do I have to wait?
So have you done much meditation before, or you were doing it before, but different this time?
Oh, yeah, I've done meditation before.
But this time is the energy level or intention was much stronger too.
It was much stronger. I was really clear.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I had the script of physically, I just want to let this go. So I feel like
you just let go, right?
That I'm back to being
in Paris.
Who I wasn't walking around even before then, like me at 5 years old, before I get like socialized and trained and all that. Like this is me.
Yeah.
This is just me.
Okay.
And I get to show up and I'm good. And that's.
So you basically told me this is a story you wanna tell me that was a story of the body, but then connected to the issues that you went through, and that therefore your meditation and steam, and the last 10 days, 3 more people died or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's really got me acutely aware of we are not guaranteed tomorrow.
Hey.
I'm really.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not, and I walk around and it's weird. I'm who I am, but I'm looking in a way that doesn't feel something that I'm used to.
Let me just jump around. No. Then you tell me because my mind was a little bit off, and I share with you because I was just saying something to this person who popped up on the YouTube, and she said something. I forgot what she said, but basically what I said was today. What did I say? Today is the first day of the rest of my life. And the first day, or today may be the last day of my life too, or something like that. I said it both way, Yeah. First day, but could be the last day too.
Right.
But that's pointing the same thing about the now and the importance of it. Anyway, that floated up in my mind as you talk about your expression about how you live. And it's funny that I was just sending this stuff to her on the message. So
wow,
yeah, it's kind of interesting. So you can go back to where you are. I was just drifting away.
No, I'm good. I am where I am. I'm talking to you. But I walk around through the day and I see people, and none of the shit that goes on, I don't let anything affect me. If people are bad or stressed out, I'm going and I'm just.
Yeah, right.
I'm just spreading.
Just you are. You are who you are.
Yeah, I'm just spreading who I am.
Right. I mean, that's the way I look at it, because often we do things because, and then in the meantime you think about how other people may see you. But you don't need to be relating to what they think about you, or you're thinking about them, or how you should look. It's none of that. It's no point.
No, it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
The dumbest question? I wonder how many people are going to come to my funeral.
That's unnecessary thinking.
right? Just like what other people think of me is none of my business.
You know, one thing I picked up and then shared in the video recently is this is Warren Buffett. He's the investor, and he was saying that there are success people, but there's truly successful people, and the truly successful people say no most of the time.
Oh, I like that.
And I really liked it because that means this guy knows what's important and what's not. And there's lots of what's not important everywhere. So you have to say no most of the time. I don't know how many people would take that word in that way, but I immediately understood what it meant. And it totally, because it's the delusion is the stress and that kills you.
Yeah.
And you have to kill the delusion by saying no, not other people, but your own saying to yourself, which is it's like a joke, but that's so important. And and when you talk about you being yourself, my video is I'm just doing for myself pretty much. And if somebody, because it's tricky that, you know, there are people, I know one guy who was so want to be popular, but it's stressing himself, and he passed away at age 50 or something. And I'm kind of like the opposite. I'm kind of rude. And that's why my point about my ex-wife says that I'm very self-centered. I just don't feel self-centered, but it appears to be self-centered because I don't care much of anything. So I don't mean to justify it for the sake of my ego, but you know, that's something I.
Well, you're true to yourself. That's like one of the things